Okay, I think we have started the YouTube live. So right now we can start. And from very beginning, I'll handing over the session to Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik. As I told in the morning, that though the session is of cluster 2 code 02A, but the session will be on digital learning platform and will be mentored by Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik. So I am handing over it to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anirban. Very good afternoon and welcome once again. So today's topic is digital learning platforms for schools. So today morning, I was reminded about a story that I read long back in my school days, I guess. And to be very particular, it was in my 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember the entire story, but the story had a part where there were two kids in a house, and the story was, I think I was reading it in the year of 1990, and it was talking about a scenario of 2030, and two kids were there in their home, and they were reading books, and the books were not the books that we see, but they were kind of devices, and through some devices they were reading the books, and that was a kind of science fiction at that point of time in 1990s. But you see that has become more than a reality, and I can see my kid today was attending her school homework or lecture through WhatsApp with a very small device like mobile phone or tab. So we have really came across that point where we are all digitally connected, and the digital media has pervaded all our sphere of lives. Even the entertainment part, learning, everywhere digital media is the presence of digital media is very much evident. So we are all digital citizens now, and we need to think about how do we really take benefit of these digital platforms to enhance our teaching learning process. And given the situation we are in, really that has become a necessity for us in today's scenario. So that's why this particular topic has become very much relevant. So what I'll do, I'll take you through different initiatives from India and abroad, where different digital platforms are being developed and being used by the learners and the teachers to enhance their learning environment or to reach out when the physical proximity is very high or proximity is not there. So I'll try to divide my deliberation in 4 parts. One is open educational resources or OERs, massive open online courses, direct to home channel.
Sir, hello. Plavan sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Actually, your screen has gone. So please do the sharing again.
Anirban, can you hear me?
Yes.
I guess my Zoom is not working somehow.
Okay.
I need to disconnect and connect again. So give me few minutes.
Okay. Due to some technical problem, Professor Bhomik has to disconnect his system, and he will coming back again. And till then, those who have joining right now, I am summing up for them again. that though the session was meant for code 02A, that means we supposed to discuss on the argument driven inquiry pedagogy, but we have planned something differently, because in first phase also the plan was right like this, because we have couple of classes on this code 02A, but we have only two classes on 03A. So if we start, if we share this session with 03A, then we don't have enough class to for the participant, for the assessment of the participant, or the demo, for the demo from the side of participants. So that's why we planned that we will do it in 02A, first session of 02A. And Professor Bhomik, that's why Professor Bhomik was sharing this session, and he was mentoring, but due to some technical problem, he had
Okay,
to.
I can reconnect again.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
So welcome.
just give me one more minute.
So Professor Bhomik is talking about the digital learning platform, and the session was started. So till then, those who are who have joined late, so that was the briefing from my side.
So those who have joined late, we are talking about digital learning platforms that will be helpful for us, not only at this point of time, but also going in the future, where we need to connect to the students because of the lack of the connection between us. There might be possibilities that these digital learning platforms will be very much useful. As I have mentioned, that I'll be talking about primarily four things. One is open educational resources. The other one is massive open online courses, direct to home channels, and finally, we will conclude with digital library initiatives. Coming to open educational resources, going by the name, they are educational resources in the first place. And in the second part, it is open to everybody, right? Now, when do we open educational resources, something called Creative Commons comes into picture. So when we talk about a resource that has been created by someone, there are certain rights that are attributed to the creator. So that kind of right tells what kind of things one user can do with this particular resource. So for example, if someone has created a resource, can I sell that at my own will? Or can I modify that on my own will? So these are the kind of rights that can be attributed to the resources that have been created by different creators. Now these rights, they can be very much legal in nature. So there are legalities of what kind of things one user or reader can do or cannot do on a resource that has been created by others, right? So that's where Creative Commons come into picture. So what they have done, they have formalized the licensing options or the rights options on a created resource by one author or a creator. So if you see the license has got three parts. And whenever we talk about rights, they have some legal aspects. And for every right, you have already heard about copyrights and other things. They have some legal codes, like, so every right has got a code in the legal code book. Now this legal code, they are presented to the human being in such a way the normal human can understand what right one user can or reader can have or has over a particular resource. And finally, as we are talking about digitally connected world, all these resources are disseminated or delivered by digital learning platforms. So the platform should also understand what rights the platform has uh, while it is disseminating the resources to the others. So that's why these codes also should be machine readable, right? So these are the three aspects of license of on a given resource, right? Now the Creative Commons, what they have done, they have come up with certain clauses which can be added or removed, or which can tell someone that what kind of rights a particular resource or the users have on a particular resource. So I'll talk about every such options and try to illustrate what do they mean really. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. One is you can redistribute a resource created by others. By redistribution means you can copy, you can publish, you can display, or you can communicate. The second option is you have to attribute the original work. So whenever you are using a particular resource, you have to tell other people who are using your work, you should tell others that your work has been derived from the other creators, right? You have to attribute the creator. The third option is you can use the work commercially. So this gives you option to use someone or someone else's work commercially. You can productize it and sell it. The fourth option is you can modify and adapt the original work. So you can take others' work and modify it and use it, right? And finally, you can choose license type for your adaptations of the work. Let's say you have taken a video lecture created by someone else, and you have added your clip on in addition to that. So you have your own video lecture and you have added that to others' work. Now you have a new video lecture. Now what you can do with the video lecture? You can say that, well, I can publish it, but before publishing it, you should know whether you are allowed to do that, right? Now you can publish it with different licensing options. So you need to understand whether you are allowed to do that. So if you can publish one, or if the creator wants that the work created by him or her will be in the public domain, so there are no restrictions, then this is a public domain resource. And there you can copy and publish. There is no requirement to attribute the creator, the original creator. You can use it for commercial purpose. You can modify it or adapt it, or you can change the license. So for example, you have this publicly available thing, but you can say that I will try to adapt it and impose a copyright on the adapted thing. That you can do. The second option is CC BY. So it is in a public domain, but along with that, you have to attribute the work of the original creator, right? You can see that we have tick mark over this attribution required. The third option is CC BY SA. So that means you have this publicly available, you have to attribute the work. On top of that, you should share it alike. You cannot change the licensing option. So whatever licensing option the original resource has, you have to share that with the same licensing option. The fourth one is CC BY ND. ND stands for non-derivative. So that means you can copy, publish it. You have to attribute the original creator. You can use it for commercial purpose, but you cannot modify or adapt it. But you can change the licensing option. The fifth option is CC by NC. That means you cannot use it for commercial purpose. Rest of the attributes or options will be remaining the same. The other option is CC by NC SA. You cannot use it for commercial purpose, and also you cannot change the license. And finally, CC by NC-ND. So you cannot use it for commercial purpose and you cannot modify it. So you can see that whenever a particular resource has been published by someone, that can be attached with some of these options, licensing, or I'll not say licensing options, some of the rights options, right? Now, why I'm telling you about all this? Because in today's world, you are also creating digital contents on your own. And in many cases, you make use of the resources that have been created by others. So while you are doing that and trying to publish your work, then you need to keep in mind all these options. So whether when you have adapted someone else's work, or you have taken someone else's work in your work, whether first of all you are allowed to do so. Then the second question is, if you are allowed to do so, what are the restrictions you have? For example, if that is non-derivative option, then you cannot really modify others' work and include that in your work, right? So you need to consider those options while you are mixing or you are adapting others' works with your work, right? Now, there are different open educational resources that have been developed over the decades and have been published through different platforms. I'll list down some of these platforms. I do not have the entire list with me, though we have worked on a very huge pool of such platforms. But I like to highlight some of these in this presentation. But there are many others there on the internet. You know, Wikipedia is a very useful resource. It is a collaboratively developed encyclopedia, and it is very much useful. It is widely used across the teaching and learning community. In Wikipedia, you know, you have one article about some topic. For example, you can have article about photosynthesis. Now, while this article is being written, there are certain important concepts in this topic photosynthesis, which can be linked to their respective article. For example, you can have a carbon cycle inside this article. Now, there is another article that is talking about carbon cycle. Now, you can link the carbon cycle concept that is appearing in Wikipedia article of photosynthesis to the carbon cycle article in the same repository. So as this is providing a very hyperlinked way of navigating the learning material, it will be very useful for the learners to get to know about the definitions of certain things. And while they are discussing or reading the definition about certain thing, they can jump to the definition of the related thing. So this relatedness is a very important aspect while we are discussing different concepts. OER Commons is an initiative where they have tried to accumulate all the references to different OER contents around the world. So this is a very huge repository. Not only collection, they have also added very nice attributes, like they have added certain educational standards. So what are educational standards? So while you are talking about a particular material, I guess you do that in your classroom as well. When you start talking about a topic, then you tell what are the kind of objective uh, the learning material has. So for example, you can say that the student will be able to do experiment on, say, photosynthesis. Now, so these particular statements, they are called learning objectives. Now, these learning objectives can be written as free text, so you can decide your own objective and write it. But if you can standardize the learning objective for a country or even for a state, then one can, while someone is creating a learning material, they can just refer to that coded version of the learning objective and assign that code to your learning material, and then you will be able to know what kind of learning objective that the learning material is having, right? So this codification is called standardization. And there are different educational standards. For example, Common Core State Standard is very much popular in US, but globally there is another standard that is called Next Generation Science Standard. So these OER common documents, they are many cases aligned to these standards, and from these standards we will get to know for a given learning material what kind of objective the learning material has, and according to that you can decide to which grade level student you should apply, or in which classroom scenario we should apply this kind of learning material or use these learning materials. This multimedia educational resource for learning and online teaching is another very good initiative. They host different types of contents, learning materials. I've given links to every such resources, so I'll request you to go back and check these resources and see whether they are useful in your classroom or while you're preparing for your class. CK12 is a very nice initiative. They have learning materials for different subject domains and different grade levels. And not only that, they have a very nice way of to navigate the learning materials by specifying the concept maps. Now, you have, say, mathematics as a domain. Inside mathematics, you have geometry. In geometry, you have got, say, triangles. Inside triangles, you have got equilateral triangles and everything. So these conceptual structures are present in this repository, and you can browse your learning materials by navigating these conceptual structures. So this conceptual structure can help the teachers to organize the learning materials properly. I guess we'll be having one session using the CMap tool where you can create the visualization of the learning material in form of concept map. And this concept map is a very good way to organize the learning material for the teachers. But for the students, it will be very useful for them to get to know how the concepts are related to each other. And finally, for each concept, what are the kind of learning materials that are attached to the concepts. Khan Academy, I guess most of you are aware of. It is a very nice way of presenting different concepts in science, mathematics, or even humanities domain subjects. So these Khan Academy videos are mostly chalk and talk based method, but they present the ideas in very visual form, and they have organized the learning materials in a very course-oriented structure where you have got, for a course, you have got different modules. For different modules, you have got different units. And every unit has got 1 or 2 lectures. And each lecture is really short, like 5 to 10 minutes. And this is very much useful in capturing students' attention. And it has been observed that beyond 10 minutes, the attention of the students really drops. So it should be, these videos are aligned to that psychological observation. And for every unit, there are tests. They are very challenging as well as interesting. And for this gives a very good view of how the learning materials can be structured around the curriculum. FATE is a very useful resource for simulation in physics. So in physics, in many cases, we need to take help of simulations. For example, if you are describing some concepts that are happening or events that are happening in subatomic level or in cosmic level, you cannot really develop a model, or you don't have a real world model to show or demonstrate the events to the students. So simulations provide facility to illustrate those ideas in a very visualized way. This FATE simulation, they host many such simulations from different domains of or sub-disciplines of physics. They are very interesting and very interactive. I think this is a very useful resource for the students to visualize different concepts in physics. Project Oscar is another simulation platform created by IIT Bombay. They span though these simulations, they are aligned to graduate or postgraduate levels, but some of these simulations could also be relevant in school levels. There are various channels on the YouTube, like you have observed TLC IT Kharagpur channel, but there are many other educational channels in YouTube. But one word of caution while you are using YouTube channels for your classroom. So the wording is, you see, in YouTube, anyone can create a content and upload it, given the content is having certain or has passed certain criteria. Now, as anyone can create a content, there might be situations where the contents provide incorrect information or incorrect conceptualization of ideas. So as a teacher, you should be responsible while you are displaying or showing one YouTube content to the learners, that whether the content is proper in all aspect, in aesthetic aspect, in conceptual aspect, or factual aspect. So this is one additional work you need to do before you present or recommend the YouTube videos to the students. This is very much important, because whatever you provide to the students, they believe that like nothing. So so it is very much required for you to be very careful to recommend the YouTube videos, and you should check the correctness of the videos concepts. In higher education domain, there are very useful projects like Internet Archive. They have very important books in various domains, and this is a very huge library. They have collected a huge number of copyright-free contents, mostly the books in their repository, and they span from education, entertainment, literature, many domains. So this is a very huge library. MIT Open Courseware is again a very nice initiative where the lecturers or the professors in MIT, they are very renowned in their own domain. They record the video lectures or record the classroom lectures, and these classroom lecture recordings, they are published as open educational resource. So these resources are freely available, and again, these resources are relevant to higher education domain, but to enhance the knowledge, I guess the teachers, they might want to look at this repository. Now, I'd like to talk about some initiatives that are supported by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. And this is done through different schemes. One such scheme is called National Mission on Education through ICT, or in short, NME-ICT. So this is a scheme through which different research projects are funded. And these research projects, they aim to develop different platforms to support learning, right? So I'll talk about some initiatives that are under this scheme. Now, talking about TLC-IIT Kharagpur, this TLC-IIT Kharagpur is a project that is supported under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teacher and Teaching. So this is another scheme by Ministry of Human Resource Development. So this has also got similar kind of support from the MHRD Government of India. But this TLC-IIT Kharagpur has got the mandate to train the teacher, and additionally they can work also on developing platforms. So I'll talk about a platform that we have developed under the TLC-IIT Kharagpur project. Now, SIAM is a project again supported by through this NME-ICT scheme, and this spells out like this: study waves of archive learning for young aspiring minds. Now, the SIAM platform is a platform where different courses can be offered, and different courses are offered here. And these courses, they belong to different disciplines, as well as from different targeted to different educational levels, right? Now, this SIAM has got a unique feature that it follows a 4-quadrant approach. There should be learning material, there should be assessment, there should be assessment items, there should be text materials for the lessons that are being provided. So there are different kind of learning materials that are associated to one unit in SIAM. So we'll just take a quick look at SIAM, what kind of resources we have there, and how we can use these resources in our school curriculum. So I'll be switching to my browser from this PowerPoint presentation. This control is creating a problem. So this is, can you see my screen on it one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the SIAM portal. Here you can see that there are different disciplines. You can browse the courses by discipline. You can click one discipline like civil engineering. You get all the courses that are offered under this civil engineering discipline. But also you can browse the courses through institution. For example, there are certain courses that are offered through UGC. There are certain courses that are offered under NPTEL, which is another very successful project under this NME-ICT. I'll talk about this later. But for the school domain, I guess this NCERT is the most relevant one. So if you click on NCERT, there are different courses listed under it. Now you can click on one of these courses, for example, Biology 12, Part 1. you can see that this course has been structured into different modules. Now, if you click on one module, so for example, human reproduction, so you have got PDF, important links, and videos. So you can read the learning material, you can watch the video lecture, as well as there are some other important pointers you can make use of, right? The second project that I like to talk about is NPTEL, that is National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. So this is another very successful project under the aegis of MHRD government of India, and this is being coordinated by IIT Madras. But this project is being participated by different other institutions, all other IITs and IISc. The objective of this project is to again create a very huge repository of courses, and courses they are rendered through video lectures. Again, this portal is recording or hosting video lectures that are relevant to higher education, but there are a few courses which can be used by the teachers to augment their knowledge in different disciplines. Virtual laboratory is another project which enables someone to run experiments virtually. That means in many cases, the access to physical setup for conducting experiments is not there for many reasons. Maybe the school is not having that particular infrastructure, or the student is sitting remotely. So there may be many situations. So in these situations, someone can use virtual lab, which is a kind of simulated behavior of the experiment. And from there, the students can understand different intricacies of the experiments. And in many cases, the virtual labs, they will be allowing the students to design their experiments and record the observations as well. So I'll make note of two such initiatives. One is virtual labs, vlab.co.in, which hosts different experiments from different science and engineering disciplines. Let me go quickly to, so I'll be going to the portal vlab.co.in, and of course there is another initiative, Virtual Amrita Laboratories Universalizing Education, value@Amrita. They also host very useful experiments in different levels. So Amrita, the virtual experiments that are hosted under Amrita laboratories, they are in many cases they are very much useful in the school domain. So for the school teachers, I recommend this virtual Amrita laboratories, or VLab of Amrita University. So let me go to these two portals. This is the virtual vlab.co.in. Oh, sorry. Did I share this? So Anirban, can you see my browser?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm showing you the vlab.co.in portal. So as I have mentioned earlier, that this is a project under this NME-ICT scheme supported by Ministry of Human Resource Development. So you can see that we have got molecular interaction laboratory, virtual astrophysics physics laboratory, virtual as advanced mechanics laboratory, laser optics virtual laboratory. Now, if you can click on this, one of these laboratories, we'll see different experiments. Now, if you click on this experiment, I think we are in Amrita laboratory. So the theory behind the experiment has been laid out here. Then the procedure to do the experiment. There are certain items through which you can evaluate yourself. You can run the simulation. But to run the simulation, you have to log into the system. There are assignments. There are certain references that talks about this experiment, and of course there is a feedback session where you can provide your feedback. So you can see that though I do not have the access to do this Newton's ring refractive index experiment, but we can do this virtually. But again, it might not give me the feeling, same feeling as I can have while I'm doing it physically. But if it is not, the access is not there, it is somehow better that I can do this experiment virtually. Now there are other options like virtual anthropology lab. So there are many other experiments, theory, then procedure, then the simulator, quiz, assignment. You can see there are many facilities you can make use of. Now, Government of India has dedicated 32 channels to deliver educational materials in different disciplines. Now, among these 32 channels, there are 4 channels that are dedicated to school level, specifically in science and mathematics. Channel 19 is for biology, channel 20 is for chemistry, channel 21 is for mathematics, and channel 22 is for physics. So these channels are all free. Anyone having a set-top box and a TV can have access to these channels, and these channels are purely dedicated for the students who are aspiring um, to join IIT systems as students. Now these channels, though they can be delivered through TVs, but also they are available via over the internet. So I have given a link to this. So you can go to this link and you can see that these channels are there. So maybe I can go to the link at the later part of my presentation. National Institute of Open Schooling, they have 4 channels, and these 4 channels, in the first channel 20, channel 25, there are materials related to DELNet. In channel 27, there are materials that are related to or relevant to secondary school education. And in channel 28, there are materials that are relevant to higher secondary school education. And channel 30 is dedicated for Gyanamrit. So this is another channel which talks about or delivers different educational materials. So let me go to the Swayamprabha channel and let us see how these lectures are available in this channel. So now you can see the Swayamprabha archive. So here in the drop down list, you see all the channel information. So for example, channel 11 is the NPTEL channel for chemical engineering, chemistry, and the related subject. But channel 19 talks about biology, channel 20 talks about chemistry. So these are the kind of channels that are relevant to school education. Now, if you click on, say, channel 19, which is for biology, So I guess due to some reason this website is not responding. Let me open it in another window. I think they're having some technical difficulty. The website, I guess, at this point down. So you may access it at later point of time. So I have checked several times this works. Now, under the purview of Teaching Learning Center IIT Kharagpur, we are also developing very interesting materials, and some of the materials we are already sharing in our YouTube channel. So one exercise that we did from the very beginning, that we are trying to find out the areas of pain point of the students where the students find difficulties. So we have kind of accumulated some of the topics in different domains where the students face difficulty. So for those topics, eminent experts and with help of the others, they have created very interesting and nice materials that can be used in dealing with the difficulties that the students are having with those topics. Now, these learning materials, they have been developed in using different pedagogy. For example, some contents, they are dramatized, some contents, they are animation based. So there are different types of contents that we are developing, and there are many experiments that have been recorded, and these experiments are associated with nice commentaries and explanations by the experts with whom we are fortunate to work with. So these all these contents are hosted in this website tlc.iitkgp.ac.in. So you can browse the contents there, and of course some of these contents are made available over YouTube. But this tlc.iitkgp.ac.in provides a very structured way to browse these content. So let us have a quick look at this TLC IIT website. So TLC IIT KGP website hosts two types of contents. One is the contents that are being developed under TLC IIT Kharagpur, and we are also harvesting different OER contents that are scattered in different platforms. And of course, they are related to the school education. Now you can access both of them. Now to access the TLC contents, you can go to TLC contents, and then you can browse the contents by the subjects. For example, you can go to physics. You can see there are different contents under physics, right? Or you can go to biology and see all the contents that have been developed under biology, right? Also, you can browse the contents based on pedagogy. For example, experiential learning. So there are many contents that are experiential in nature, so you can access those. You can access the contents that are project-based learning. There are certain contents that are tagged under storytelling. So you can make use of these resources in your classroom. Finally, you can see that there are different resources that are being developed under different projects, under different organization, and these contents are kept in their own purview. Now, let's say you are studying a topic, for example, say Newton's laws of motion. What you can do, you can go to say NCERT. There you have got books, physics book. You can pick up a physics book from there, by visiting their portal. You study the chapter, but you want to do certain experiments with that are relevant to say Newton's laws of physics. Then you have to go to say Amrita University's virtual laboratory portal to find out whether there are certain experiments that are related to Newton's laws of motion. Now you want to assess your understanding on Newton's laws of motion, then you have to go to another portal. So as a learner or as a teacher, you have to jump from one portal to another portal, right? Now there should be one framework where all these resources are integrated together so that the learner does not have to go to individual portals one by one, but they can come at a single place and get all the kind of contents that are required by the learners to meet his or her own learning need. This National Digital Library of India is another project that is funded by MHRD Government of India under the NME-ICT scheme, and it is a flagship project of the ministry that aims at collating all these kind of learning materials together to form a complete view of the learning scenario, starting from the book to laboratory to question paper to solution. So all these things together in a single place. So this National Digital Library of India is a project that is being coordinated by IIT Kharagpur. And the primary objective is to collate all the resources together so that the students or the learners or the educators, they do not need to go to different places. They will get all the information together as a single window. See, it works as a single window to educational information of various kind. I'll spend some time on this portal because this portal is becoming more and more relevant in today's Indian educational system, as many of these contents or the resources that are being developed under this NME-ICT scheme is being collated in this framework. So I'm going to National Digital Library of India portal. So in order to go to National Digital Library of India portal, you can use this URL ndl.iitkgp.ac.in or ndl.gov.in, or you can search in Google with National Digital Library of India. I guess the first link that we'll get, that will be of National Digital Library of India. Now, at this point, as we are going through one emergent situation, we have got a special model that is dedicated to the COVID situation, where the students that are who are residing or locked down in their own places, they can access the resources here very easily. Now, this National Digital Library of India provides various options to gain access to the resource. For example, you can search for a particular material. So let me search with, say, magnetic induction. So you can see we get various resources that are related to magnetic induction, but you can see for a school student, I think the first link, second link is not relevant because they are kind of research articles talking about magnetic induction. So what I want as a student, I want the learning materials that are related to my grade level. For example, I'm studying in say 9th or 10th. So I click on 10th or 9th. Now you can see that there are various learning materials that are related to school level. For example, this electromagnetic induction is some resource. Uh, yes, it is chapter 16 on electromagnetic induction. So one can study this book here or chapter here. Now, this portal has got another unique point. Now we can see that this is a complete book, and under this book, this electromagnetic induction is a chapter. Now, while you are studying this chapter, you want to study the electronics chapter as well. Now you don't need to search for it. You just click on this electronics. You get the chapter for electronics here, right? So all the contents that are related to each other, they are grouped together, right? Now, you want that, well, I have seen all the resources in for 9th and 10th level, but I want certain, say, I want only books. I see I have got only books. I have got a book from NCERT. I have got book from Gujarat Secondary and Higher Secondary Education Board. I have got book from different other state boards, right? Now, well, I have checked book. I want to see whether there are any question paper on magnetic induction. So I click on question paper. I see certain question paper that might talk about magnetic induction, right? So what you can see that I have searched with a keyword magnetic induction, but as this portal is dedicated or targeted for user group from the school level to college level to researchers, you can get all kind of resources here. But as a student of say class 9th, you can customize your need by clicking on this options, various options, right? So that is what a very unique point about this library. You can also access certain answers, solutions. For example, this is one particular resource where I guess you have solution problems and solutions on magnetic induction. So there is a problem that is defined over magnetic induction, and you have solutions for that as well. Now, apart from searching, you can also browse the resources. For example, you want to browse the resources based on source. For example, you know who are the good sources, you know the good sources in the school level. Now, we are approaching 100th birthday celebration of great Satyajit Ray. So this portal also hosts very interesting material, the Kherur Khata of Satyajit Ray. So you can search for that as well. So though you might argue that this is not relevant to school, but you can show it to the school students, they will get interested. For example, Upika in Baghavain and other things, for example, Hirok Raja Dese. So the movie script written by great Satyajit Ray is made available through this NDLI. You can get access to these as well. So there are various ways by which you can get access to different kind of information at a single place. You don't need to go to, it will take some time to download. You can try out while you get time later. So the uniqueness of this National Digital Library of India is to provide the users or the learners a single place where they can find all sorts of materials that are relevant in their day-to-day learning scenario. So with this, I'll conclude the session. I'll very much like and I'll be very much happy to answer or address the questions and doubts you have. So the floor is open to the participants. Anirban, over to you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask the participant to, if you have any question, you can ask here. So please. So as we get to know about lots of information, yes, Snehal Chaudhary is raising hand. So please ask.
Yeah, sir, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving such a nice information regarding all the resources which are available online and how we can use it in our day-to-day practice. Right now, you showed about the National Digital Library. So, you showed us that we can access the material through that under different browsers. So, where can we get the uh, some multimedia or something like that? The some films like that which showed you right now. So, where can we get some demonstrations or something like that through that National Digital Library?
So thank you very much. As I have understood your question, you are asking about how do you get access to National Digital Library of India? Is that your question?
No, sir. I'm asking that once I'm on that homepage of National Digital Library, how can
Right.
I access different videos related to some topics? Like
So
you
can you
showed
tell
right
me
now,
a topic? Can you tell me a topic?
like some electromagnetic induction. That topic is there.
Okay, so let me go to electromagnetic induction then. I'm again sharing my screen.
Okay.
So I want the video lectures, right?
Yeah.
So I clicked on video lecture. So under learning resource type,
Okay.
so what you can do, I'm doing it once again. So I search for it. The resources I get, they are mostly may not be relevant to what I want. I want the video lectures. Now you go to learning resource type, click on it. So there is another
Okay.
search through which you can search the type of the learning resource. Now you type on video lectures. Now you see that I only got the option video lecture.
Yeah.
Click on it. You see different video lectures like you have got electromagnetics. Now you start the topic on video lectures on electromagnetic, right?
Okay. Okay.
Uh, you can have other options like say electromagnetic spectrum from another very useful project, teacher tube.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a content that is being played here on electromagnetic spectrum.
Yeah.
So you can customize your need by selecting different filters here, right?
Okay.
Does that address your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
So one thing I would like to mention, sir, could you please tell tell the participant about the different languages that is available in the NDLI portal?
Okay, so interface-wise, NDLI is available in I think more than 8 languages. So you can access the interface in English, Hindi, Bengali, Ahamiya, Gujarati, Odia, Marathi, etc., etc. There are many languages we are also trying to include as we go forward. But while you are searching, you can also search with search in other languages like Hindi and Bengali. So let's say we are searching in Hindi on Mahatma Gandhi. So you just type in English like Mahatma Gandhi. Now this is my query. Let us search for it. And you see we have got different resources that are related to Mahatma Gandhi. Here I'm not searching in English, I'm searching in Hindi. And the results that I have got, they are all in Hindi. So it supports search in multiple languages. As of now, we have got support for Hindi, Bangla, and English. But we are trying to include other languages as well. But the interface is available in many languages.
And another important thing that can be shared, I think, in this lockdown period, the special part of the NDLI that is being hosted regarding the IIT joint entrance examinations.
So while we typed in ndl.iitkjp.ac.in, you can see a modal that has popped up, right? And there you can see that there is a special corner for school, undergraduate engineering, undergraduate science, and language management law. There are many such corners. Now you can go to school corner and see what are the different resources that we have collected from the National Digital Library of India, and that will be useful for the students in this situation. Now, for the video lectures, you can have video lectures on from different sources. There is a very interesting or useful section called JEE preparation material. So there you can see that you have got JEE main 5 years solved papers, JEE advanced 12 years solved papers, JEE preparation for mathematics, JEE preparation for physics. Now, if you click on this, say JEE main 5 years solved papers, you get the papers for different years. So let us take say 2014. Go to the physics paper. So this is the question and the solution is provided here. Now you can see that sitting in the home, the student can prepare for the JEE and the related exams by using these resources, practicing this question, checking the solutions. So this is a very important corner that NDLI has developed as a collection, right? But there are other many good resources that have been accumulated. For example, I was talking about FATE. Now, if you go to simulations, activity, self-assessment, and various study materials, you see that there is something called simulation by FATE. You click on it, you see a simulation on alpha decay. You can download it or run it from here as well. This saying down there are certain contents that you can download, or there are certain contents which you can run it from there itself. There are other options like there are storybooks, books for kids. There are lab materials, educational apps. So there are plenty of resources that you can make use of, right? So for example, there is a friction lab where you can, I haven't checked it, but going by the name, you can work with experiments on friction. So you can see there are various ways to access the repository, and there are various types of materials that are available here. So are there any other questions?
So if anyone has any question, please ask.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah. Actually, I wish to say myself Subroto Chandra. I wish to
Hello.
say, yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're perfectly audible.
Okay. Okay. So, could you please provide us a time that once you have demonstrated the things, once we go through them, and we may have queries in the next session. Just before starting that, uh, could you please address a few problems which might be pertinent?
Okay, sure. I'd love to do that. But I guess we can create a new session or dedicate a new session for that. I'll be
Okay.
happy to
Okay.
do
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
So I think
Thank you.
Anirban can coordinate this.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Okay, then we may make a plan that we have a course 3A in which I'm going to share the concept map or C map. In that session, at the end at the end part of that session, we may interact on these part that have been proposed by our teachers, participants. So that may be done if Professor Bhaumik's times permit.
Sure, I'd love to do that.
So
Good evening,
anyone
sir.
else? Yes, yes, ma'am.
Sir, I wanted to ask that you were telling something about the SWAYAM app.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat the question? We lost you in between.
Okay, sir. So you told about SWAYAM app. So I got to know that we can enroll in some of certificate courses that provided certificates. So
Right.
what I'm seeing, I opened that app right now, but enrollment is not being shown for physics or some of the courses right now. I mean, since March and since January 27, none of the new courses are there to enroll. To know, I just wanted to know that due to this lockdown period, they have not proposed new courses, or am I not able to see that? So I just request you that you share your screen if you could to show that the courses, that new courses, those enrollment is going on.
So maybe I can take a look at that. Though I know that this is an enrollment based platform, but I haven't really looked at with how you can do enrollment. But I can definitely look at that and get back to you. But the point is, the enrollment. So these courses are offered throughout the years, right? It is not like the set of courses starts at say July and then the next set of courses will start at some point of time. So they are conducted regular basis, but maybe due to this contingent situation, there might be certain discontinuity. but you can definitely enroll on a course, and there are certain deadlines to enroll in this course. And one thing I like to talk about, I really skipped that part. I forgot to mention that this NPTEL and SIAM, they provide courses where one can participate freely, of course, to see the video lecture or to get access to the video lectures. You do not need to do anything. You have to just enroll to that course. But if you want to get a certification out of this, then you have to pay a nominal fee, and at the end of the course there would be a proctored exam where in a physical exam hall the participant has to appear and attend the exam, and based on the performance of the participant, then the credit will be assigned to the participant. The certificate will be given to the participant. Now, in many cases, these certificates or these credits are recognized by the job providers in many cases. And nowadays, as different educational institutions, they are facing difficulty in having sufficient number of teachers in different disciplines. For example, there might be one university or institute, say one college, they have to float a course on, say, nanotechnology. But that college do not have at that point of time any faculty who can teach this course, this nanotechnology course. But one can see that there is a nanotechnology course in NPTEL or in SIAM. Now one can attend this course. Now the students can be allowed to attend this course and give exam, and whatever credit point they get out of this exam, they can be translated to their respective credit point or grade point in their college. But that should be done by the permission or approval of the college authority or the university authority. So the authority decides whether or how many, first of all, whether, or second question is how many or how much of the credit can be taken online. But this online credit is gaining popularity because of lack of infrastructure or human resource in different colleges. So one can definitely enroll for a course, get a certification, and that certification is getting recognized by the university system or the college system.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank you.
hope.
So that is why I was asking, because by the time I got to know, yes, sir.
Hello, madam, your voice
By the
is
time I got
breaking.
to know that.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is truncated because I think because of lower bandwidth. So we will get back to you whenever you get connected.
Can you write to us with your queries? We can address those maybe in the next session or sometime, or we can write back to you.
Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir.
So, anyone else? I think there's no one to ask anything. So I can share one thing that we are fortunate to have Professor Bhumik among us, because he is one of the co-PI of this NDLI also, and he is one of the most important driving force behind it. So it's a we are fortunate to having him with us and sharing the content. Hello, sir.
Yeah, so it is this project has started in 2015, and there is a very strong team backing up this project. professors from Computer Science Department from IIT Kharagpur, the librarian of IIT Kharagpur, the librarian of different institutes in India, and MHRD is supporting wholeheartedly. Different institutions have come forward to contribute to this National Digital Library. So it is a very huge concerted effort of different organizations, many domain experts, many people, many librarians. So a very heartfelt thank to every institution and every person who have contributed to NDL.
So actually, it's a huge project and huge human resources involved in, and a huge network is behind the system. So we would like to thank everybody because it has given a great platform for us, for the teachers and students. So I think, sir, there is no other question. So what do you suggest? Could we conclude or anything
So
else?
my suggestion would be if there are other questions like Mr. Chandra mentioned that if they can go back, the teachers can go back and check the resources. Now, if they have, now there might be few queries or issues they can find out. If they can mail it to us, or they can ask in a session, a special session that you can create for us. I'll be very much happy to address those. I think that is a very nice suggestion. If we get sufficient number of questions, we can really have another session on this.
Okay, so that will be great. Devmalla Shen is raising hand, so please carry on.
Yes, Mr. Sen.
Yes, Mr. Shen, can you hear us? Mr. Shen, we are not getting your voice.
Now you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell us. Hello.
My question, we are attending this course. We are coming to get new idea, and we'll be definitely implementing to this in our classroom. Hello.
Sure. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, that is what the objective is.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Please carry on.
So it is said in the course, we are coming to know all about this digital platform, and we are getting through the all those experiment demonstrate means give us by the Dr. Shamant and so on. So it is said this is a mentorship program. Sir, what is the meaning of that part? I didn't get it.
Okay. So you are asking about the meaning of the mentorship part, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as a teacher, your primary role is to mentor your students, right? Am I correct about that statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So one objective of this or one meaning of this mentorship is to tell you or let you know about different ways or different activities which can help you to become better mentor with the kind of different pedagogies that we are talking about and different kind of resources that we are presenting to you. So this is one part of this mentorship notion that we are talking about. The other notion of mentorship is, so we are kind of trying to create a network of the teachers. So what is the network? The network is, now as we are doing this workshop, many teachers are coming into our purview and they are becoming a part of our team. So you in the inauguration session, you have heard that there are 13 teachers who have attended few other workshops conducted by us, and they are acting as the mentor for the next level teachers in the Bengali, the workshop that is being conducted in the Bengali mode. Now, the teachers, those who are acting as mentors, they were trained through some workshops conducted by us. Now you see that they are mentoring the other teachers. Now these other teachers will be mentoring the other teachers along with the students. So we are creating a network of the mentors so that we can spread these activities across different schools, across different regions by help of this network. So you can think yourself as the first level mentors because you are being trained by the experts from the TLC IIT Kharagpur. Now going forward, if you get interested about our activities, if you feel like these activities are worth doing and you want to spread it to your colleagues or the other teachers you might know, then you will be acting as mentors to them. So the mentorship has got two notions. One is the regular mentorship work you are doing with your students, and you want to talk about techniques, different techniques, which will help you to become better in that job. And the second part is you become a part of this TLC IIT Kharagpur family. You become a part of this TLC IIT Kharagpur team, and you can act as mentors to the next level teachers.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay, thank you.
So right now I want to convey another thing that there is every possibility that all of us or some of us may not be so very much fluent in talking English, but I would like to say that in that case, don't feel hesitate. Ask your question as you can, and we will try to understand. And I'd suggest don't let the language be a barrier for the learning. So it is my earnest request. Please don't feel hesitate to talk with us, because one way interaction, it will not be very good. It will not be very healthy for us. So we want more and more interaction. Whatever you want to say, ask in your way. We will try to understand and keep asking until you get your answer. So what would you say, Plavan sir?
So if there are no other questions, let us conclude. And I really thank the participants for being patient. And of course, there are very interesting suggestions and questions. But of course, if there are other questions that you have in mind or that can pop up in your mind later as you explore the resources, don't hesitate to write to us those queries. Maybe we can collect those queries, prepare responses, or we can um, conduct a separate session to address those questions. Right. Thank you very much.
Sir, please stop sharing your screen. Yes, sir. Thank you everybody for being with us. And right now, then we are terminating the session. We are closing it. So goodbye and thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.